massage tables.
The only part of that came
to buy a massage table at a yard sale and then put a sign up like Mr. Beast or something and chart and start giving massages right there at the yard sale. That'd be awesome. So welcome to the show, everyone.
Hello and good night.
That is going to live on.
For 2 years, you got to deal with that because he's in office for 2 years, and I'm going to make.
Oh, is he only doing was he just fulfilling part of a term, or was he?
Wasn't it a congressman he ran for?
No, he ran for Senate. We got 6 years.
We got him you got to deal with it for 6 years.
And that's the end of the political portion of the show.
So last night, Alabama did a classy thing. Alabama basketball last night. For those of you who don't follow the sports world, you know I'm a college football fanatic. We lost Mike Leach yesterday. Mike Leach was the head coach of Mississippi State University. A lot of his fame came from Texas Tech. He resurrected the Texas Tech Raiders, and he also coached at Washington State and several other places. But a true genius of college football. The Pirate was a legend. I challenge you, if you're a college football fan and don't know much about Mike Leach, to go back and watch some interviews. Just incredible interviews, and he would talk about anything. You know, they asked him. I was watching one last night where they asked him about in the Pac-10 when he was coaching Washington State, which mascot would win in a fight, and he went through in his football interview 5 minutes of which was the best each mascot and what their strengths were and whether they could win. And it's absolutely outstanding. But he was 61 years old, folks. Heart attack at 61. Live your life. I'm telling you right now, if there's something you want to do, get busy doing it yesterday. It is, I saw the interview after the Egg Bowl. Never expected in a few weeks he'd be gone. That's just insane. So, if you want some just fun humor, they asked him about they knew that he hated candy corns, and so every Halloween they'd ask him what was his favorite Halloween candy, and what did he think of candy corns, and he would tell you he hated candy corns and he loved anything gummy bears as long as they were Airbo gummy bears. They had to be Airbo. They couldn't be anything else. I mean, the guy was funny. Lag, who was a fresh meat? I should have introduced John. I figured a lot of people knew John. His YouTube channel is Flippin' Ain't Easy. Somebody put.
How you doing, everyone?
I like how everybody says fresh meat.
My first rodeo.
Actually met John in person on Wednesday of the Vegas trip, but I was babysitting Harlan that night. So I remember meeting a lot of people. It just everything becomes a blur after a while. So Lag said I've seen his channel. Then why are you asking me who the fresh meat is if you've seen his channel?
Thanks,
and then he says it's a solid channel. I mean, Lag is a trouble starter, by the way. So John, if you didn't know, Lag,
look at the freaking Philadelphia Beagle image he's got in this thing, and he lives in his mother's basement.
I'm with the Eagles. I hope they win it all.
They'll choke. It's Chokadelphia.
Mark asked a question. If you've sold an item in the past, is there any way to change the condition?
Yeah.
When I tried it, there is one way. Create another listing. That's the only way. Yeah. If it's FBM or FBA, once you make the listing and post it, when you go back to edit it, you'll see a little lock beside the condition. That is one you can't change. It's locked once you make it. So if you want, say I've got one that's in good condition, I want to list one that's in very good condition. You have to have separate listings for each one. So there's no way. So
it's easy. It's easy to make a second listing.
That was not the answer you wanted, but that's the answer you got. So John says that he picked up a bunch of shoes from a hoarder. So Harlan and I, we were at an estate sale Friday, and these people, it was a guy who he had died of cancer in his 50s. I mean, people die young, folks. If whatever you want to do in life, you better do it. So he had just boxes and boxes of shoes and shoes and shoes and shoes. And, we went the second day, and I'm like, I wonder if there's some left. And there were like 5 or 6 boxes left. And I'm carrying them, trying to get them downstairs. And Harlan's like, did you check them to make sure they weren't dry rotted? I'm like, no, they look in perfect condition. He goes, one of mine was dry rotted. So I took it and bent it in half, and all 5 pairs went right in the middle. So, especially if they've been stored at all, you need to check them to make sure that, given the bin test, I ended up picking up 1 pair of shoes at that place. Harlan picked up 3 or 4, but there's no telling how many. There were at least 100 pair of shoes. So the first day, most of them went. So there's so many people bought dry rotted shoes and don't know it.
Wow. Thankfully, I didn't have any of that type of issue. Pretty good condition. Really big name brands. We got some Prada. We got some Coach. We got, of course, Nike, Adidas, all that stuff. And no real issues like that, thankfully.
Yeah, you know how disappointing it is.
First thing I do when I see shoes.
To have a shoe snap in half. I wish I'd have my camera at this estate sale. So I'm an Alabama fan. This was a Fanatic. When I tell you they must have had 50 Alabama Nike shirts and different lightweight jackets and stuff. Anything that was made in Alabama, they had. Signed pictures, there must have been 60 or 70 signed pictures. It was all Alabama stuff. And then there was Atlanta Braves. So it was real neat to see that he had a set that was signed baseballs from the late 90s and 2000s. It had the 3 Cy Young, and that was the plaque on the Atlanta Cy Youngs. And it had a signed ball from Glavine, Maddox, and Smoltz. That was a pretty cool display. I think it was like 2 1/4. But and it went before the sale. Somebody bought that. But there was all kinds of memorabilia. And the weirdest thing of all, this house was 6,000 square feet. And in every room, the little things you plug into the wall, like plug-ins, Glade plug-ins, and that kind of stuff. There must have been 100 in every room. But they were not used. They were.
I was going to say that would be horrible to walk into.
I mean, some kind of smell function out of dysfunction? I don't know. It was.
Ugh.
I mean, it was in every room. There were just boxes of them, and these things were just laying around. So we actually went to we went the second day as well. For the auction we use, you can do very well at half price, much better. So that's the way I treated it. On the first day, I treated the second day was 25% off. I treated that as eBay, and then the 50% off day, we treated it. I looked for stuff for the auction. So I got this interesting thing, Steve. It's outside. It's maybe 4 inches tall. It's a yellow Sony Walkman, but it's got like a 1-inch square TV in it. You ever seen one that small?
No, well, not a yellow Sony.
This was the yellow sports Sony that had the TV.
I didn't know they released it. That I've seen a lot, the Watchmens and things. But
they had to release it because I found 2 of them.
Well, yeah, but I've never seen one.
One of them actually had the original headphones attached to it.
Shit.
Mark wants to know, is the $40? If you're going to take Amazon serious, pay the $40. If you sell 40 items in a month, in number 41 starts costing you money because they're going to charge you $1 per item. The other thing I would tell you is you can't. The first qualification to get ungated in anything is pro seller account, and so you're going to be so limited by what you can sell because you can't get ungated in any category. And so if you want to make any kind of attempt at Amazon, pay the $40 because you're just so restricted. Also, you can still do FBA with the individual plan, but your storage is so limited. I mean, it is minuscule what you're allowed.
I never thought of that part of not having the pro seller count as the storage limits. They've got to be tiny, because even for some of us, they're tiny. That have been sellers for a long time. I don't even know how to look anymore.
Mark, as long as you don't take a lot of crazy chances on, there are a few people I know that have been banned from eBay, and Chris get banned from eBay. Don't take chances. Don't take crazy chances. If you're selling an item that is a one-off item from the company that was a prototype or whatever, they're probably gonna be pissed.
There's more to the Chris story than what's being told.
I'm sure.
Oh, I'm absolutely sure there is.
I'm sorry. Nike. I believe Nike got involved in that.
I think they did too.
There's no doubt about that.
I don't think that was eBay, because he did nothing wrong by eBay's policies. It definitely was Nike coming after him through eBay, because that's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, because all they have to do is threaten eBay with litigation, and then eBay's going to fold. Adventures in Victoria. Quite a few people selling at Walmart. Grumpy used to, but he doesn't anymore. Or doesn't selling Walmart.
Yeah, I gave it up. I mean,
a couple of my friends are actually just starting to sell on it, and so I'll tell you of their adventures here. It's still the Wild West. It's still a more difficult platform to actually function on.
You have to. The one thing I've learned over time is you have to be able to put some kind of effort in to whatever platform. I'm not hiding anything. That number on my name is my yesterday's sales. Put a comment and a decimal point in, and that's what I sold yesterday. I'm on Amazon Canada, and it's falling apart on me because I have no time to even look at it. You have to be able to look at these platforms. Every one of them operates a little bit different. You can use software to list on other platforms, but I have not met anybody yet that's able to list on multiple platforms that hasn't run into some kind of software issue, some kind of problem somewhere they don't know how to fix. Whether it be eBay double listing, it sells on Etsy, and eBay's supposed to pull it down, and eBay pulls it down and then puts 2 listings up. That's in the software. So you got to be able to spend some time learning these different platforms. Don't think that you're going to be able to put something on eBay, Etsy, all these new platforms, Walmart, Amazon, and be able to control them all. You just can't do it. I mean, and I have a team of people that work for me, and I can't do it.
So Mark had an item that was going to cost him $130 to ship to Alaska. If you're an eBay seller and haven't set up business policies correctly, what are you doing? Protect yourself on heavy items and understand that it's not a bad thing. You have to charge a surcharge to Alaska, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico for items that go. Remember, there's no ground service. So where you would have a heavy item and go, oh, UPS ground to cover me. Unless you've got a road to Puerto Rico or Hawaii, there actually is a road to Alaska, but you got to realize it's 2,400 miles long. So there's no UPS ground to Alaska because the difficulty in getting up there and back.
You can do that on Amazon as well.
Yes.
For those at FBA, you can do that on Amazon as well. Again, this goes back to knowledge, guys. You have to know what you're doing.
Okay, so Tamara says sees only eBay sellers and complain about sales. These people that complain about sales or don't understand, mixes of products that you can sell. Having a slow moving group and a fast moving group, and having products in a demand, and you end up finding people. I'll sell used clothes. I don't know why I'm not selling any. It's fourth quarter. Because nobody's going to give your used pair of pants as a damn Christmas gift. Let's get over this. I don't want used socks for Christmas.
Is that why I'm not selling my shoes?
Most likely, yes.
Yeah, but you know that, John. You know.
I know that. I'm still selling shoes, by the way.
Yeah, but you're not selling like you could, in spring.
Right.
You're going to start picking up because people are going out. Snow's gone.
Or for most people, the snow's gone.
Listen, you also have to, we talked about this before the show, and I don't remember who all was there, but my sales do not drop in January. Everybody had next week, everybody's sales are going to start dropping because Christmas is technically over for retailers because we can't ship in the time frame. You still have those people trying to get in the last minute and they send you the email saying, you screwed my Christmas because you didn't ship fast enough. Screw you. You wanted it? Get it earlier. But my sales, I have a product line that starts picking up as soon as Christmas starts slowing down. I have a product that picks up because of tax season. It runs the end of December. They try to get the tax break. They stock up on what they need for 2023. And it continues into January and February because it's tax season and their sales increase. You have to know what your product's doing.
Mm-hmm.
I've always said you got to be niche specific. If you get in, listen, when you start, if you get into shoes, stick with shoes. Don't try and do what everybody else does. Scott and John and Steve and myself, we have years of experience. And it takes time to learn all these different items. You can't walk into a place and go, okay, I'm going to get all the money out of here. Hell, I've been doing it for 15 years. I can't walk into Goodwill and get everything out of there. I can find, cross pens from the 80s.
Well, expand your learning curve. So you're finding yourself having to learn all these things that you're buying, right? If you're just starting out, the trickiest thing I've seen is just the consistent sourcing. So if I want to keep buying these shoes, well, this lady's going to be out of shoes. She ain't going to be able to sell me any more shoes. So I need to find more suppliers of shoes. So that's going to be my next challenge if I wanted to do that. So that's why I tend to gravitate towards really everything, because I can maybe have shoes this time, but maybe the next time I can come by, someone who's selling a bunch of something else.
And so I made a TikTok last night, and I picked up one item at the thrift store. Remember, I go to this thrift store every Tuesday with Tracy. He bumped out on us on wing night last night. His wife made him some kind of appointment at 5 o'clock on a Tuesday. Tracy's wife disrespected wing night. We almost kicked Tracy out of wing night. It was so terrible. He's been married 30 years, or we tell him he needed to find somebody who respected his boundaries. But so I stopped at the thrift store by myself, and I tell you over and over, if you're not curious, you're never gonna make in this game. So I'll show you a picture of what I found. And
while you're getting the picture, Tamara brings up a good point.
Would you ever have even looked at that or picked it up? Most of you tell me you sell clothes or you do whatever. You wouldn't have looked at it.
What is it? I don't look at it, but I don't know what it is, so I don't look at it.
I looked at that because I don't know what it is.
It is a scooter charger.
Yeah, I would have looked at it only because it's different.
It was $15. I get the senior discount. There's 59. There's 125. 80, 70, 119. I paid $11 for it. There's only one in the last 90 days. There's only one that didn't sell. So that's at least a 500% sell-through rate, right?
Oh, at least.
At least.
See, I can't do that yet. I'm not old enough for the senior discount yet. So I got to wait another year.
I have been offered the senior discount a few times.
Well, I'm technically 2 years young, but they think I'm old enough. I just didn't correct them.
Hell, I've been getting the senior discount since I was 40.
They just ring it up, and I go, I pay what they tell me to pay. Even though I see the register go, senior, I'm like, okay, here you go.
Tamara, I'm going to go back to the topic we were talking about and diversification.
How do I know the scooter battery works? It is not a battery; it's a charger. And
Tamara brought up a great point.
Let me tell him how. Let me answer this, and we can move on from that.
And post her thing at the bottom.
I plugged it in, and I had the end of the charger, and I touched it with the multimeter. As long as you've got the 24 volts coming out, you're good. That's it. Multimeter, hit 2 of the prongs.
Tamara brought up a great point about diversification. If you sell shoes, diversify into sandals, boots. Don't go from shoes to DVDs or granny panties or whatever it is. Build out from what your knowledge base is by adding a little bit more knowledge. And the quickest way, and Taylor's Place says the quickest way to fail is to copy someone else.
Did somebody mention copy somebody else?
Speaking of which,
copy somebody else.
I tried to push it into the topic for you, Scott.
Damn, John gets an A for effort on the. Okay, so if we wanted to pick, do I still have him up here somewhere?
Probably not. Look at the private chat.
Oh
link.
my, yeah. Hold on a second. I almost picked out my own store. I was almost.
you almost added yourself.
Almost named myself as douchebag of the year, month. Damn it. All right, so here we go. If I had to give out a douchebag of the year, week, month, this person wins, right? And if somebody were to happen to buy stuff from this store and have a bad experience and then go through eBay system to let them know, I'd be all right with that.
You talking about your second store?
This is not my second store, folks. This is the Bearded Fudge Packer. This is not me. And so you think, this guy has copied my image, used my name. First off, it started in 2020 and lives in Utah. So those are two. Everybody knows I don't live in Utah, and everybody knows my eBay store started in 2000. But the problem is here's the problem. Let's share another screen. If you type up bearded picker on eBay, they didn't do it. Hold on, Chrome tab. Look who comes up in the Google search first. The Fudge Packer.
Do you see why?
So, I mean, the person has sold enough stuff that he doesn't need to do shit like this.
Do you see why, though?
Why?
Your store name.
I've changed all that years ago, but my base store was DS Zilke, my initials, because I've got such an old store.
No, I understand that, but what people need to do to help you out with this is they need to search bearded picker and click on your link to your eBay store so that Google ties them together. It's an SEO trick.
Man, I'm gonna. So I had a generic picture that I had altered. I'm actually going to have one made, a new logo made, and then I'll have it trademarked or whatever. Yeah, it's folks. There's a lots of things you can do with eBay. If you think that you're not good enough, that you must copy and siphon off someone else, find something else to do. You're a low life scumbag douchebag. I'm sorry.
No, come copy me. I love toying with them people. I like toying with them.
Because don't worry, next week I'll have his name and we'll call out their name because I'll be buying something here today. They won't know it because I'm gonna change my name and send it to a friend's PO box. So good luck with that. I don't think eBay will do anything about it, but since I have eBay concierge, I'll be calling them after the show. It's just not cool, folks. That's just,
I don't understand it because it looks like they sell a lot of lower end stuff. I mean, I took a little while to search through their store, but it's not like they're not successful at selling their lower end stuff. What do they add? 300 sales or so in the last 90 days or something.
Yeah, but their average sale price is probably $10.
Yeah, but it's not like they need to steal somebody's identity if that's what they're really doing.
It's obviously somebody who hasn't listened enough to me because a $6.99 DVD goes to the auction. I'm not selling a DVD for $6.99.
And those are $6.99 free shipping, aren't they?
Yeah, $6.99 free shipping. So I have some Disney DVDs that Jacob has listed because I would never have listed them. and I think I've gotten $8.99 or $10.99 or whatever. But that's him listening. I can't use my time
unless you're getting them free. $6.99 isn't going to work. You know,
and even then,
if they're under 4 ounces and you're sending a media, they might work, but
so media would be $3.40, $3.50.
So you're going to go through all that aggravation?
You have to sell a lot of $6.99 DVDs.
Yeah, it's a volume thing. You buy a lot of DVDs. A friend of mine locally just picked up 1,800 DVDs, I believe, just yesterday, and he got them for like $500. So he's into them for like 33 cents a piece. And the way he lists them, he just goes in and scans them, and it comes up with a stock photo for that DVD, and put the condition, price, list.
Now you can make money on $6 items. So I sell my pins at $6, but people are buying 4 or 5 of them at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like DVDs, maybe not so much.
I have items on eBay that are $4.
I think my lowest is $5.
That's why
my pins is $5.
But my average order size is over $100. They're not buying one $4 item. They're buying 10, 12. I've had people buy 200 of them at a time.
On my pins, though, I'm charging $4 shipping.
Right.
They can buy 100 of them for $4 shipping, but if they're buying one, they're going to get $4 shipping. So at $7, you can make it something, but you're not going to make a lot.
No,
you're not going to make. It's almost not worth it unless you're selling volume. And even with DVDs, though, you got to sell a lot of them. People tend to buy one DVD, not 10. You know.
Hey, Kevin. Good morning, buddy.
Lag says it's John's second store.
I think it could
be. Yes, Lag, chill.
Probably, yeah. Probably came on the show just to divert attention from himself, is my guess.
Patrick is a gay lord. No, that's not what it says. Pat, I'm sorry. I'm kidding you, bud. Back before COVID, I bought a gay lord of DVDs for 10 cents a piece.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Be who you want to be.
You'll find that in some of those lots, you'll find some really rare, hard to find DVDs.
There'll be gems in there for sure.
You know.
Yeah, but you can't do the research, John. If you got to pick. You got to pick. Are you going to do volume, or are you going to do price?
But he's saying his friend has bought the volume, and in the volume he's picked out some gems, which is fine.
But if you know that it's a gem, just by it. Like I've been with Jason T. Smith. I invited him down here and said, "Listen, there's no resellers in this area. I am sure of it." I sent him a picture. He came down here, and the one thrift store had probably 1,000 CDs. He never once took his phone out to look up a CD. He went about 10 CDs in and handed it to me. He said, scan that. And I scanned it. It was a $200 CD. If you know what you're looking for to go through that kind of volume, it's fine. If you don't know what you're looking for, you got to work it. When you buy something like that, you need to pack it and sell it and move on.
He does. And you pick out, you go through it, you pick out the ones that you have there's a high probability that there's higher than average value. And then you put everything else to the side and list that whenever you get to it, get your higher price stuff listed first.
So DVDs is like anything else. It's a learning curve. You learn the horror sells. You learn that the BBC sells more. You learn that Acorn is another one that has a lot of high price stuff. Not you, Steve. You're okay, Steve. I say not you, Steve, because you're priceless.
I know.
That's why. There you go.
Oh, I don't want to get any shit on my watch.
Wait, this is the first time I've gotten a compliment on this show. Keep going.
But there's certain in the DVDs. If I've bought enough of them, I can look at them and know which ones I need to scan and which ones I don't. And
it's pretty. Once you get into it, it's pretty quick.
And anything new. So was there a new one in that big lot? Were there new ones in there too?
He said there's about 60 to 70% were new. And it was just an older lady. She must have been 90 years old, and she just wanted it out of her house. So
if he bought that many with that high percentage of new, he's easily going to make quite a bit of money.
Yeah. And he knew that going in.
Oh yeah.
New is a whole different story.
Pat Dees, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Not singing a Christmas card, put it towards coffee or beard oil. Man, I cut the beard off way
Pat
back.
Dees,
I don't
make
need
sure
oil.
you tell him happy birthday.
Outstanding, Pat. Enjoy your family time and enjoy the birthday with your son. So you can do things the right way. I always advocate doing things the right way. If you take shortcuts, eventually they'll catch up to you. And Mr. Bearded Picker and Packer, it's caught up to you. So
I'm going to bookmark that page just to see if
Texas Man, hey Phil, hey, thank you so much. I appreciate the super chat.
Don't spell my name wrong on the chat.
So Phil, are you Houston, University of Houston basketball fan? Because here's what happened. Everybody, boys and girls, here's what happened. Y'all left us out of the college football playoff. Y'all were tired of Bama being in there because you knew if we put it in there, we'd be the only ones with a chance to beat Georgia. So you took TCU, who lost a game and is the only team in my lifetime that I know of that lost a game and didn't move down in the rankings. And y'all want, well, if we move them down, we have to put Bama in. You know what happened? We became a basketball school overnight. For the first time that I can remember, the basketball team is ranked higher than the football team. Get you some of that. We have beat 2 number 1 teams last week. The first time that's happened since 1955. Alabama is now a basketball school, ranked number 4 in the nation. Memphis came to Alabama this weekend. They beat Auburn. Auburn's highly ranked as well. They traveled to Coleman Coliseum and were sent packing last night. So there you have it. Azure Blue, you really don't want to get me started, buddy. You look up and see the last time in history that a team has played 5 road games and they were all ranked at the time they played the game. I can't find it happening in the last 30 years.
This show will be available on the other channel after we get banned.
Mr. TCU they played in a weak conference. TCU, 9 of their games, they won by less than double digits. Of those 9 games, they played 7 teams with backup quarterbacks. You barely beat 7 teams with backup quarterbacks, and you want to go, we only lost once. And one of those teams was playing their 3rd string quarterback, who once they got their 2nd string quarterback, they beat you in your little tournament playoff. TCU, you're going to get railed out of the college football playoffs.
There we go, John. He goes down rabbit holes.
Yeah, I know. I watch the show.
when he gets on his sports, and if you talk about his beloved Alabama, that's like what, ranked 99th this year?
Funny, I've been watching Scott since 2019 when I went full time, and every time at the end of the show he says "Roll Tide."
Yeah,
and I've kind of changed it. I put "Use Tide."
If I want to have that team, John, if I want to have a losing team, I'd go to Texas A&M with Ron. Harlan's got my back. I knew somebody in the chat had my back. Roll Tide, Harlan.
Hey, do you have a moderator?
Yeah, if they already hit it, that Free Girls in the City or whatever.
Yeah.
I let them block it. They'd already hit it.
I checked it out. It was not really what they said it was.
Well, it doesn't make any sense. You got a lot of resellers that are here just watching this content, and they've been waiting for someone to post the porn link, I guess, right?
Well, okay. So is it any coincidence that Free Girls in the City shows up and then Harlan comes right in behind them? I don't think so.
No, there's no coincidence. He was following that. There are 30 complete. Is this your buddy, John? Biscuit Butt?
Yep. That's him. That's the dude. That's the guy who bought all the DVDs.
Who was that?
Scroll up in the comments. He put a comment about the DVD lot that John was talking about.
He's the one that bought those DVDs.
So there are 30. Let's make it easy.
Thank you.
Biscuit Butt. I think you did well. I'd have paid the money for it too. I've gotten into a lot. So if you look at my Amazon account, most people know what my Amazon account is. I don't try to hide it. I have hundreds of DVDs on Amazon. I quit deleting his link. Sorry, Harlan. Maybe next time I won't delete your link.
Here's where he failed. Okay, he traveled 20 miles, 25 miles from the other side of the valley. He lives in Vegas.
Right.
He literally went a block from my house to pick these up from this old lady. And I told him, come on over. I've got some tamales for you because I cook, right? Dude didn't even come by and get him. He lost on that one. So I got on him about that.
So he could have bought DVDs and got free tamales. That's
Free tamales.
That is a fail.
Yeah, it's a fail.
I think part of the point is you never know where something's going to be. I mean, it was a block from your house. You didn't know it was there.
I told him that.
Yeah.
Well, I told him. I said, come on over. You're going to be a block away.
Oh, hell, I would have shortcutted him and went to the house, knocked on the door.
Vintage memories. How good is Vegas? Bama over Memphis was 4 points. Tigers lost by 3. See. Let me. I guess vintage memories. You're in Tennessee, so let me explain to you in simple math. +1 is a win. +1, that's a win. -3, that's a loss. Okay. It doesn't matter how good you are at minus. There you go.
The one thing cool about Vegas for New Year's is, now I did it at Boulder Station. You go up onto the top of the parking garage, the fireworks that you could see for miles and miles and miles and miles. It's amazing to see all for hours. For hours, because all the different towns set them off at different times. And you could see in Arizona, which is an hour time difference than Vegas this time of year.
Well, it's not just the casinos either. You have people here that go and buy these firework kits, and they're just setting them off. The bottle rockets all over the place. So
yeah, but you could
neighborhood
from Boulder Station, you could see south of Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see all the cities out there setting them off too. I got video of it. It's cool. I mean, I'm gonna be there for New Year's this year too. So
okay.
I'm locking myself in the room after I eat a nice steak dinner at the steakhouse.
So as your blue wants to know, is the best place to sell coins? Does anybody sell on Reddit? I would most likely use eBay. You've got some protections there. I don't know what kind of protections you've got on Reddit.
I definitely would use eBay now because you can't. There's something you can't do with money in regards to tracking. And eBay has a special envelope now for coins. So if I was going to sell coins, and I've sold some coins, I got a bunch of Trump silver dollars when he was president that I'm just holding on to for the next election because I think they'll go way up in value.
I mean, he's not still the president?
No.
Oh, shh. Stop.
No, we have no president.
So Pat Dees is concerned about you, Steve. He says you look mad.
Well, yeah. Connie didn't mention me when she came in. So, I mean, he mentioned Pat. Connie mentioned Pat, but not me. So, yeah, that made me a little upset.
Oh, yeah, that'll.
Okay, so that tells us something. So whoever Connie is not a fan of Steve. So we need to write that down.
She didn't mention John either. So
no,
nobody likes me. I really don't give a shit though. Unless you got more zeros in your checkbook than I do.
So Rockstar Flipper, I know a lot of people love or hate Casey. He's got an interesting video out. I think it's 8 days old now. If you're not aware, if something sounds too good to be true, it generally is. You know, we've got John and his buddy here in the chat, Biscuit Butt, who bought legitimate lots, and they're verifiable in-person lots. There's evidently somebody going around offering vintage T-shirts, and they are scamming people. They're taking your money and leaving, and they're out there. They're in Ohio, so it might be Steve. You never know. And
I thought they didn't think they were in Ohio.
I thought they said they were in Ohio. They've got local,
I know it was a Midwest. I know it was Midwest, but I don't remember if it was.
they got local police after these folks. So if it's too good to be true, it generally is. So if you're gonna buy bulk, I would suggest you do it in person. Put your hands on merchandise to make sure it is what they say it is.
Right.
But it's. Do I watch all of Casey's videos? I don't watch them all, but there are some that he puts out news and things that are going on because he has a different group of people he hears from than I do. So there'll be a lot of information. So I suggest you follow these folks, follow a lot of folks just to see what's going on.
Yeah, I'd second that. If it's not a verifiable source or company, or maybe even a YouTuber that you watch that you're buying these things from, if you can't verify who they are, and you can't put your hands on it, then it's not worth it.
Yeah. What happened with this guy is he'd been a member of some of these groups, a lot of groups, reselling groups, for a long time as a legitimate reseller. Apparently they got into some financial difficulties and he thought it'd be okay to do this, But because he was a member of these groups since, like, say 2009-ish or whatever, nobody thought it was bad. And they started sending the guy money. Don't send money until you have the product or until you have physically touched that product. I mean, it just makes sense. Now, unless you're dealing with a legit company that, like, you're buying wholesale or something like that, that's different. But if you're buying from another person, individual, don't send any money.
So
it makes sense.
Lag says he always puts his hands on the merchandise. I think that's something completely different, Lag.
That ain't merchandise.
We have to have some humor this morning. So one thing I've told you about, this phone here, I have struggled with it, and hopefully I'll have some good news for you next week. So I watched a video last night about this phone. The video is one of those I thought it was a clickbait when it's like reviewing. I've had this phone for 3 months and there's one thing I can't stand. And I'm like, all right, I'll buy it because there's one thing about this phone I can't stand. It don't scan worth a crap on Amazon app. But the thing he doesn't stand maybe explains it. So if you know anything about a camera lens, every lens has a minimum focal distance, which means that for those of you who are not into cameras, that means there is on the iPhone 13, 5.7 inches is where you got to be for it to focus. Use your own reference point for 5.7. This phone here has a 7.1 or 7.2 inch focus distance. They changed it and didn't really say much about it. And so normally where you would hold an item here and go, well, damn, it's still blurry and not scanning worth a shit. It needs to be here. And, I would tell you, is there a lot of difference between 5 and 7? Use your own measure, right? But I'm going to test this out and see, if I change where I start the initial scan on this phone, if it does any difference. But that just very interesting that because he was like trying to do like photos and it kept switching to the macro lens. And he's like, I want to use the regular lens. And he says it's been driving him crazy because, the one thing about putting the lens farther out is it changes the aspect ratio of the picture itself. Yeah. And so he was trying to make pictures look the same. So if you've got an iPhone 14, I know that Thrift Brothers, I know Steve mentioned last week, you've got one. Do you find scanning very difficult with yours as well?
It's right. It doesn't scan the barcodes as good as my 12. So,
and I've got a Galaxy S21 Ultra. I carry an XS Max with me to scan because it's so frustrating. And just hotspot them together. But I'm going to try that. I'll let you know next week. Functioning with life, I'm giving myself an upgrade. I'll be functioning with 7.1 this week and see what happens.
I think Connie's tuned into the wrong channel.
That's a terrible joke. But so I think part of it is the Amazon. So that if that's the case and Amazon has their app set up for the other, that might be a lot of the reason why it's because also too, whenever an iPhone keeps most of its apps open in the background. So when I go and hit the Amazon app, it just starts blinking like crazy. It takes it a minute to finally settle down and open itself, which is really weird. It doesn't do it on any other phone. Mark, it doesn't. It's only the 14s. The 14 got a new camera And I think the 15, from what I've been watching, is getting a new camera on top of that. They're going with a Sony sensor for the 15, which means I will probably upgrade out of this 14 to get to a phone that will scan better.
I went old school on all you guys.
Flip it good. I never made it out. Sorry.
John scanning with a flip phone.
That's exactly what I have now. I have the new.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. I know. I worked with a guy, young kid, and you would have thought, technology for younger people, but he has a YouTube channel. He's does some rap videos and stuff like that, but he just uses a flip phone. He would never upgrade to a smartphone. Didn't want it. My wife's son is the same way. He's got a flip phone. Doesn't want a smartphone.
I got the new
It's a distraction for people.
I got the new Galaxy Flip, and Lori got the Fold.
So the one interesting thing is I done lost my whole train of thought. These phones, they're tools. And understand that the new upgrade to 16.2 came out yesterday. It added a very interesting feature, which is relevant because of Grumpy. Grumpy, tell them what you did a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
why do you have a flip phone?
Because I got jacked in Vegas.
So he got pickpocketed his phone in Vegas. And so you really need to understand the security in these phones. The iPhone leads the way in security. I can tell you one thing. Android phones are nice, but if you're concerned about security, the iPhone is much more secure. And the latest one here, iPhone introduced yesterday end-to-end encryption. That means on anything you send, it goes through basically goes through a tunnel. It's you can read it on your side as it goes through. It's encrypted with whatever security measures that can't be read by anybody else, and comes out the other end, and the other phone has to be able to translate it. And so it keeps your data from being stolen, including text and everything. It must be good because the FBI is bitching that it's too good.
This is a case just like the one that was on my phone, and this is why I got jacked. There was 3 credit cards and my driver's license in here when they jacked my phone. One of the credit cards was an American Express with a very high limit.
So this is he canceled the cards. That's no big deal, and they got cards. I bet American Express got your card pretty quick back, probably a day or two.
They had me a new card, and they said they could have it there in 24 hours if I needed it. I said I got 14 other credit cards. It's okay. They were great about getting all the fees off, all the charges off the credit card, because in Vegas, everybody swipes a credit card.
So, but he struggled one other place. He struggled with, I called John the other day and he's like, yeah, who is this?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is me. He's like, who's me? I'm like, oh my God, John. He goes, all right, I'm in a car full of people. Can I call you back? I'm like, yeah, dude, call me back. But he lost all his information on his phone.
All my data was gone.
The other thing the iPhone did yesterday was there is a better way to get your data back, and it's there's 2 ways to do it. You can have a key like what the crypto coin markets use, 28-digit function key, or you can have a separate contact. And so when I set it up this morning, I'll just put Joni's name and number as my recovery contact. So, because, hey, come here.
You have to realize, and I didn't realize it. And I've learned a lot from it happening. I have a lot of tips for people about it. You don't realize how much you have on auto pay on credit cards when you run a business. All my auto pay is now on credit cards that are in the safe, so that if it happens again, I don't have to try and figure out everybody that's on auto pay. And with the business I have, I'll be right there. With the business I have, there's a lot of auto pay.
So with technology, you need some responsibility. Understand how to recover your data, how to, if you, it's a lot of the same things. If you were to sell a phone, you need to understand how to deactivate the phone. John got his phone deactivated and erased. Understand, protect yourself. I'm going to have by the next show, I'll have a password manager. I know John uses the LastPass. I'm trying to decide between LastPass and 1Password. I'll make that decision in the next day or two. But your phones, especially, understand that your phone stores your contacts in two places. It'll either store it on the phone or it'll store it to your email address, which is your login. And so evidently John's must have been storing to the phone and not to his Gmail. Because if it was stored to your Gmail, when you restore the phone, it'll put it back. So understand, iPhones are a little better about putting data back. But you need to know your passwords, because the worst thing about a upgrade to a phone or a new phone is if you've got all your passwords saved on your phone or wherever they're saved, you've got to have access to your passwords again. So an app like these things are cheap, $3 or $4 a month. They're not a ton of money, but for the protection and if you're like me, God, if somebody ever figures out one of my passwords, they all are like some variation of the same 3 or 4 passwords. So
it wouldn't take long for somebody to get all my stuff.
Yeah, it wouldn't take long. So like I do use Apple. I need to look into that, I guess, first before I do that, because now that I'm back on Apple, I probably won't leave Apple for a couple of generations. I like some of the features that Apple does, and I find myself not wasting time. I'll play with an Android phone and I'll rearrange it and I'll customize this and figure out how to do that. And iPhone just does it, and so I don't spend time messing with it. So
I've had Apple since the first iPhone came out. I switched over for 2 years and to Android and said, forget it. I'm going back to iPhone.
I've been on Apple since iPhone 4.
I mean, I really do like I do like Androids, but it is nice that the wife, she likes the fact that I'm back now. I don't have to tell her where I'm at, and she'll always constantly call me, "What are you doing? Where are you at?" I'm like, "Didn't you just look on your phone? You know where I'm at." and also a cool thing. So I met my brother last week at Buc-ee's here in Athens. He was coming through, and so I was going to visit with him. He married his fiance since I've seen him last, because they eloped. So I was going to spend a few hour or two with him before they went back down farther south. And we shared each other's locations. And so I could tell that I got there early, and I could tell that, when he was like 3 minutes away, because it'll tell you in real time where. So, that's some interesting things you can do when you've got the same phone systems. And since I was the only one who didn't have an iPhone, my last iPhone was an XS Max. I had an 8 and the SX Max. So, and then I skipped the 11, 12, 13.
I'm on the 12. I like it.
So somebody asked me, had I ever had a Sony phone? I have not, but their last one, the Xperia Mark IV, that's a nice phone. One of the better cameras on a phone. It'll actually record 4K video at 120 frames per second, which is amazing. Which really means your action stuff. The thing about frames per second is the more frames per second, the better it looks in slow motion. So to be able to control slow motion in 4K on a phone, that's crazy good.
I'm waiting for the Elon phone to come out.
Most regular cameras will not do 4K at 120. Most of them struggle to do 4K at 60. So, like, I should do phone reviews.
You should do review videos, but we've already talked about that.
Yeah, I'm going to do some of those, but that's another time, another topic. So do I think new iPhone photos are really, really good? I think the Pixel takes better. See, all the upper level phones, they all take really good pictures. A lot of it becomes your preference. There's a little color difference, where an iPhone a Samsung saturates a little more. A Pixel will make it more true to color, a little flatter, and then an iPhone is somewhere in between the two of those. Where the iPhone shines is video. The iPhone makes better video than any phone, hands down. The others are catching up, but they have not caught up. So if you're going to use your phone for video, and if you want to start a YouTube channel, which I know lots of people that do YouTube channels with iPhones, it is amazing how many people just use an iPhone for. John, is that what you use to record most of your stuff?
Yeah, I just picked up a GoPro recently, but to supplement this, but this is what I've always used.
I watch my buddy Campervan Kevin. He does his on I think he's moved up to an S22 now, but he's built his entire channel on a phone.
Lots of people do,
and it's amazing. I'm gonna give you a hint about a YouTube channel. If you want to start one, you've got to have a little bit of personality. You got to be a little outstanding. People will watch you for you. They'll forgive a little bad video, bad audio. They have a hard time forgiving because they want to hear what you have to say. But it's personalities. Think about who you watch on YouTube. Why do you watch them? So I watch a little young couple. They've got like 3.5 million subscribers, and they run around all over the world. And I just think they're a neat young couple, so I'll watch them. It's not, am I going to go ride on the whatever they're riding right now, the expensive train in India? I'll never be there, but it's just fun to see them. So I have made a few videos from my phone. I generally use cameras.
You need a good gimbal.
Even then, this boy right here, I picked up at a yard sale for $150. That is a smoking deal. If you know what you're looking for. That is an RX 100 Mark 6. $150 at a yard sale. That's still $500 or $600 phone used. So I've used it for the last video. I'll have a shipping video coming out tomorrow. I'll edit it this afternoon. It was shot on my GoPro. I've got a GoPro 9. It does fine. I didn't see any reason to upgrade to the 10 or the 11. If I was going to upgrade, I would upgrade to the to another manufacturer. I would not buy another GoPro. Yeah, stock's unhinged. It is Kara and Nate. They are from Nashville. They're just interested to see where they go. They do a lot of fun stuff. So Johnny and I watch Kara and Nate together. And then also Eamon and Beck is another one I watch just because I like the young couple. They and she's fought breast cancer, so Johnny watched them now too, just because she likes another breast cancer survivor. And Kevin, it seems that Sony is kind of taking over a lot. A lot of the bigger YouTubers are going to Sony. They're leaving Canon. If you're a newer person, Canon is easier to deal with. But if you want more control and are more into post-processing and other things like that, the Sony seems to have taken a leap forward past the Canon. I am not very good at post, and I don't want to spend a lot of time learning how to do a lot of stuff. So I will continue to use the big camera back there. You can see it right there. It's still a Canon. I think that's it. That's a Canon. It's an M6. That one takes amazing video and amazing pictures. That M6. Old 35 millimeter.
Don't read that one. We don't want to tell everybody our secrets.
Oh, stock's unhinged. You've been banned.
No, but it is a good point. 35. I've been buying them like crazy at yard sales because you get them for $1, maybe $5 at tops, and anything with a zoom lens on it. An old 35 millimeter camera with a zoom lens, $25 minimum, at the least.
Every once in a while, I'm going to sell
point and shoot cameras.
I've had it for a year. So here's what I told myself, that I'm going to keep this camera here because it's better than the point and shoot that I was using. And as you can see, it's still here. This is the Mark II. They make a Mark III. This is another very good vlog camera to start with YouTube. The Canon G7X. This is the Mark II. The Mark III adds the microphone out input that this one doesn't have. but I've made quite a few videos with this one. Jacob's been using it as an eBay camera. Why he's using one of my good cameras, I don't know. Do you still have that drone camera? No. I sold that drone for $500. That paid for a lot of my trip to Vegas. A lot of the gas.
Who else can go to Vegas besides resellers and pay for their trip just on the stuff they get in Vegas? I mean, it's a pretty unique. John's different, but it's John. You're a reseller.
You're a reseller.
Yeah, but I'm using credit card points.
Well, I mean, there's other ways
people
to
do very, very well.
But I mean, as just a normal person going to Vegas and paying for their trip just on things they buy there, that's pretty amazing what we do. You know?
Yeah, the weather allows us to have yard sales pretty much year round. I think we had around 20 to 30 just last weekend.
Yeah, but when you don't have yard sales, everybody else in the country is having yard sales. We don't have yard sales in the summer.
Yeah, that's true.
So at Vegas, what part of the year is no yard sales? Is it like June and July, or June, July, August?
I think June, July. That's the worst time because
July,
even
August.
at 6 a.m, it's 90 degrees.
I remember the last time I was there, I was 18 or 19. It was like August 4th when I was leaving, or 5th. I got down to the van in the hotel parking lot in the deck. The van said it was 100. It was 6 a.m. I'm like, it's time to go.
Yep. Worst time here.
Time to go. But there's so much about this electronics. You know why? It's no secret that I love electronics, and so I was whenever me and Tracy get to the thrift store, he goes one way towards, because he likes sporting goods and he likes other stuff like that. So he goes that way, and I go straight to the electronics. And we generally meet in the back when I'm looking at DVDs and stuff, and he'll be looking at Bibles and other things. But it's, I'm sitting there looking
in the women's underwear row.
Yeah, I skipped the women's underwear. So I look at and I see that thing sitting on top shelf. I'm like, well, what the heck is that? Let's look up the model number. And these iPhones that is one nice thing about the camera. If you take a picture of it, it'll pull the data out of it. You can copy paste it without having to type the numbers in.
That is pretty amazing.
So I do use that feature a lot. I think Google will do it as well. But it's, trying to remember like an 8-digit number, or snap a picture real quick and hold your thumb over it and then take the numbers out is pretty quick to copy paste them into an eBay app. Model number told me exactly what it was. So it just leads me down. I'm working on this. It's sitting here attached to the computer. Don't let them tell you Garmin's don't sell. They have to have one little feature on them. Can you see it?
LM.
Does it have LM or LMT at the end of the model number? This one does. I'd be lying if I told you I could read it. Hold on.
Get them glasses out, boy.
Mine haven't been selling as well, but I can't sell Garmin anything on Amazon. I think that's where you're selling them, aren't you?
Yeah, this one's a 50 LM. It was one of the more popular models they ever made.
I have a couple of those. They're not selling as well on eBay right now, but I know
I get for that one right now. I will even though it's lifetime maps, I'll go and upgrade it for them. I'm getting like $49 to $54 on Amazon.
I know that is a key point. A key point with any electronic, it will go back to even the 35 millimeter cameras. Test them, I don't have any film. Buy a roll of film at a yard sale. Throw it in there. Make sure it advances and retracts. Do all the things. Buy a battery. Whatever you got to do. But you're gonna get more money when you test things or upgrade them or whatever.
Yes, especially point and shoot cameras. If you some of those are still worth money. They use a battery. You can buy the batteries on Amazon. I got 10 of them for like $5. And so I'll just throw them in the camera and I'll put on there, it's battery tested, but not film tested. And you'll be amazed how much more money you get just by saying it's battery tested.
They're little camera batteries.
Yeah, that's it. little bitty.
That's one. There's two different sizes, just general sizes of camera batteries, and then sometimes you'll get fancy batteries like that.
Yeah,
I buy batteries all the time at these like discount stores and stuff, just because I'll use them eventually.
So Scott, FBA or FBM on used electronics?
Both.
Mainly how do you determine which ones you ship in?
Mainly FBM. If it's smaller and I've got a shipment going in, I'll throw it in. But most of it's FBM. I will do some FBA. But
I know some people like Wick. He sends all his stuff FBA.
Yeah,
and he sends a lot. He sells a lot of used VCRs and stuff like that. And so does shoot, what's his name? Anyway, School does that.
I know Raycon sends everything in too.
Yeah, a lot of people send used stuff in.
So don't believe Glenn Swamp Picker. He is telling you a lie. LM is lifetime maps, not LTM. LMT is lifetime maps and traffic. LMT is lifetime maps and traffic. They're a little more money than regular because they collect traffic data, but they also take a cable. The charging cable has to have that little bitty thing in the middle of it. It's like this long little rectangle in the middle of it for some reason for the power that it needs. I
think that's the antenna for the traffic.
Is that what it is?
I think. Now, when you're looking these up on eBay, a lot of the times you'll get a 50 LM, but you also get a 50 LMT. You got to make sure you're listing it the right way because you don't need a return on a stupid little mistake like that. So make sure you're listing it as an LM if it's an LM and an LMT if it's an LMT.
Isn't the issue with FBA is that when you can't sell it on eBay since it's gone, Mark, you're gonna have to whatever thought that was in your mind, type it out better.
Yeah.
What he's saying is you can't, if you send it into FBA, you can't have it listed on eBay. You can't. That
is wrong.
You could.
If you sell it FBA, you can still multi-list it. You just there is a multi-channel fulfillment. And so basically for a little bit higher fee than what they would normally fulfill it, Amazon will ship it to your customer no matter where it is. So it could be in an Amazon warehouse and you mark it for fulfillment and you put in the address where you want to send it. You pick the speed that you want to send it and Amazon will send it to your customer.
What do they charge for that?
Just the shipping and packing fee. They don't charge you a sales fee because you didn't sell it.
Be careful on that because it depends on the item. If you're selling low, small, and light stuff, multi-channel fulfillment probably isn't for you. But if you're selling a big VCR or something, it might work. It might actually work.
It might work better. They get better rates for shipping.
Well, I haven't had good luck trying it, but that doesn't mean I was trying it on small stuff. So
the one thing I would tell you is if you're using multi-channel fulfillment, understand that if you allow Amazon to pick the speed with which it is, you might not get a tracking number and it might show up as late on your eBay. And so be careful because they will send you a tracking number as soon as it's shipped. But if you let them ship it at their speed, it could be 3 or 4 days. But check the speed for like second day. It's not terribly expensive. It's not like what you would pay for. It's more similar to what you would pay with our discounts. And you'll be sure that in items that I might do multi-channel fulfillment, always give yourself a 2-day handling on eBay. You give yourself some room in order to get the so what I would do is if it's sold and I knew it was at Amazon, I would immediately request the fulfillment so they'll get the process started. So you've got your full 2 days in order to get your tracking number put in. So you get
easy.
For your shipping.
It's easy. You just go under orders and then create MCF order. That's it. And then fill in the information. And
now, wouldn't eBay see that as drop shipping, that you're shipping it from a different zip code?
Remember, there's two different kinds. The key for drop shipping on eBay or Amazon. Remember, the biggest drop shipper I know just left the screen. John is a drop shipper galore.
Okay.
You must have a relationship with the supplier, and so if you're drop shipping from Amazon from yourself. Okay, this is another cringeworthy moments, but a lot of people have relations with themselves. Okay, there we go. That was a bad joke, but so because you have a relationship with yourself, you are the owner of the stock. So that's the key is you have to have a relationship with the party that. So
Well, I know at times eBay will see that an item is being shipped from a different zip code than what you have listed in your account, and that might flag something for them.
I've never heard anybody having an issue
No, I haven't either.
on
I
eBay
haven't.
with multi-channel fulfillment.
Well,
I've heard
not
them
where I'm
having
at.
issues, but not with multi-channel fulfillment. And I'm sure it's a pretty easy one to explain to eBay. And eBay understands that there is multi-channel fulfillment. The other way around might not work so well, doing it from eBay to Amazon, but Amazon to eBay will.
Something I need to look into then. I didn't know that was a thing on Amazon.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is, and it's fairly easy because if you log in and you click on check a box on one of your items, and if you look at the check down from the top, one of them will be is create a create a fulfillment order.
Yeah, it's right under orders, then create MCF order. And then all you have to do is put in the ASIN and then the address of the person it's going to, pick your shipping, and you're good to go.
I'm a lot like Scott. He's trying to dive more into eBay. He's already established himself into Amazon, and I'm quite the opposite. I'm trying to do a little bit more with Amazon. But when you look at this Amazon Seller Central, it is just convoluted as hell. There's half the settings. You're like, where the hell? What is this for?
It is. It's
crazy.
It can be daunting.
I'm not the only twisted person in the chat, and I appreciate that. So Hustle Man says that he ships on the road, ships from wherever you're at. So I think that might be a little different, Hustle Man, because if you have it in your possession and using eBay shipping, you can change the zip code right there on their screen to get the correct shipping. Mm-hmm. Because you're in possession of it, and so. But people are worried about being a drop shipper.
Well, back in 2019, eBay sent me a nasty gram because my zip code I just moved from California to Vegas, and I didn't update all my listings, right? And half the listings had a California zip code. The other ones had a Vegas zip code. They made me send them invoices for all my merchandise before they, unflagged my account.
So, Brenda, you're in the chat for the first time in a while. Have you met Frankie? Little Franklin he's 6 months old. He's the newest family member.
I ship sometimes from North Carolina when we go down there for Christmas and Mother's Day, and I've not had an issue with it. But I have in my eBay account that as a second address for me, and in my Amazon account too.
Mm-hmm. He's a big one. He looks big in my arms, but I'm a 6-pounder.
The problem with multi-channel fulfillment is you don't know which warehouse it's coming out of, so that might be an issue.
Well, you can set up multiple addresses. You can set up your business address in eBay. You can set up a warehouse location address if you want multiple addresses.
But you don't know which warehouse it's coming out of from Amazon when you're doing a multi-channel fulfillment. I still have not had an issue with it, but I haven't. But I don't know anybody who's ever said they have. But
yeah, and somebody, I think Brendan was mentioning everything she orders from Amazon has an Amazon box, but they only use plain boxes for fulfillment, multi-channel fulfillment. Other than that, it used to be an option where you had to check a box for it, and then they went to all plain boxes.
Must be fairly new because the last time I tried to use it, I had to check that box.
But it's very It's a nice feature, especially if you want to send all your inventory in and you want to have the option of leave it on eBay. Because say you've got an item that might take 3 or 4 months to sell, and you'd be happy with selling it on eBay, but you want to send it in. I mean, that's the perfect answer.
So if it sells on eBay, if it sells on eBay, right? So you go into your Amazon Seller Central and set up the shipping and have them ship it that way, or is it linked?
It's not linked, but remember when you do the fulfillment, they're automatically going to take it out of your inventory on FBA because it's not on. So you don't have to do anything other than once you create the order, they'll automatically take it out of your inventory. It's just like an FBA process then.
Okay.
Yeah, and you don't even have to have an eBay order. You can use your multi-channel fulfillment if you wanted to send something to Scott. You can use it for anything.
Now, have you had something happen to where you get a sale on eBay and then sell the same thing on FBA within minutes? Nothing like that? Okay.
It could happen.
It theoretically it could happen, but as soon as I see the sale, because how many of these items you're going to have, not a ton, and so as soon as I see the sale, I'll immediately go ahead and create the fulfillment order.
That's good.
I don't know who
That's good for someone
Fart Sack. I don't know who Fart Sack Jack is, but I got to say that's an awesome name. I love it.
Fart Sack Jack. Wow.
As long as you're not
but for someone who has limited space, I could see that being something that.
Oh, absolutely.
Not really well.
What I would do if you're worried about eBay shutting down your account because you did that, send a message to eBay for Business on Facebook and ask them, hey, is this something I can do legally? That way you have now a record that you've asked, it's good to go. When they go back to review your account, you've already got that in there, that flag in your account that you're going to.
Well, I can tell you that they don't read very well. I've had many issues with eBay noting an account and not looking at
not actually noting it. I've had that happen, but you have it in text. You have it in message form that you can go back now and look at. It's there. It's there permanently. It's not something that, even if they didn't note it on eBay's end, you can go back and send them the file from the chat log because you have it on your Facebook side. I
don't ever worry about eBay because I have concierge service, so I'll call and get someone who actually half the time knows what they're talking about. And that also comes with a few negative removals per year and other stuff. So
I will not deal with. I don't call eBay.
There's a hack to get a US rep almost every time. You go into eBay contact seller help. I think it's help and contact. Look up the policy for the shoe authentication services, and then go into chat and request a callback, and someone from that team in the United States will call you back. And it doesn't matter what it's about. It doesn't have to be about shoes or anything like that. That's what I do. And I get a US rep almost every time.
I get one every time because concierge.
Yeah. Ron asked on eBay, can you change your username and change the company name? Absolutely.
But I put on there a yes to both.
Yeah, you can do that. I had issues. What was it? When that company wanted to sue me for that thing I was trying to sell, or I had sold, or whatever.
The CPAP thing?
Yeah, I changed my username to my LLC name. And I did that because now when they're mentioning me in a lawsuit, it's suing my LLC and not me as a person. So I changed everything on eBay over to that stuff. So it is absolutely doable.
Hey, Treasure Hustlers, thanks so much. They put John's link in the chat. So give John a follow if you're not following him. So I was watching some of your last show. So what's the deal with UPS, the Postal Service reducing rates here for temporarily, or is it?
Yeah, as of the 9th of December, they decided that they were going to reduce their rates effective immediately for zone 1 through 4 priority mail services. So I don't know how long that's for, but according to, and I don't even know if that's just specific to eBay labels, but that's what they put out back on Friday.
And it's for 1 to 2 pounds?
Up to 5. No, up to 4, I believe.
Up to 4 pounds, zones 1 to 4 from your area. They have reduced the priority shipping rate for eBay right now.
Yeah.
So Ron, if you click on your name where it says "Hi, Ron" up at the top of your eBay page, and that's on most pages, and then go down to account settings, click on that. Then there's personal info and business info and all that stuff. That's where you change all that. It'll make you sign in and all that stuff.
Okay, so I think let's see what we got here. So I got
eBay has changed my name, and I didn't do this on eBay, and so I don't know how it happened. But eBay has changed my name to my full name, spelled out middle name and everything. How the hell did that happen? I never go by Steven. I hate it. I won't do it. But that's how they have it on eBay now, and I did not do that.
That's not what I want to add. That's not what I wanted. So I've got
And my
somebody
middle
who
name
is.
is spelled out.
I got someone who has just bought something and wants me to change the address.
So that's a good topic too, because
Yep.
is that legal to do?
Yes.
Yes.
I've spoken to reps before, and as long as the correspondence is in the message with the address information, and but for me, it's about, I would rather, because I just don't trust eBay and the reps and following what another eBay rep will say. So to me, if it's anything more than like a $20 sale, I'll just basically
Okay, so this is a $19 sale. And so I looked at it and my immediate thoughts were like, hustle man, I need to cancel this. It says that I just noticed I haven't looked at my email, my address in a long time. Could you send it to this corrected address? Thanks, Jocelyn. And they've got 2 feedback. I'm like, what do you mean you hadn't looked in a while? You've only got 2 feedback. And so here's how you start looking at this. So I immediately went through their feedback because it tells you how long they've been on eBay. They've been on eBay since 18. So even though they've only got 2 feedback, this is not somebody new. And then they live in Oklahoma, in Stillwater. The new address is still in Stillwater. So chances are she's just moved. And, I feel very confident I will use the correct address that she gave me. I'll answer and say, no problem. I'll ship it out today. But there's some things you can do so if she had a Stillwater address and she wanted me to send it to Maine, chances are it's not going to Maine without me telling I will relist it and you rebuy it with the correct address.
Well, to stop you there though, this time of year, you got people that are going on to eBay buying gifts for people, and maybe they let it default to their address, and now they want to ship it to Aunt Thelma out in Maine, right? And they need you to update it. Otherwise, it's got to. For me, it's all about the money. If it's a big dollar item, I'm not even taking the chance.
I've done it every time, and I've never had an issue with it. Now that doesn't mean my pain tolerance level for that sort of thing may be way higher than somebody else's.
Remember, one thing I've told you since I started this channel is verify a lot of these things. Do not treat every eBay buyer like a scammer, because they're not. The scammers are out there, and they will certainly get you.
Mm-hmm.
I've sold 2 iPods recently. When I listed these iPods, they went immediately. The first one sends me back a message after about 20 days saying, this thing won't hold a charge. I need a partial refund. I'm like, no, I don't do partial refunds. You can send it back. That's the last I heard from them. I had one yesterday. I need a partial. This only holds a charge for 35 minutes. I need a partial refund of $15 to help offset the cost of getting it fixed. I'm like, you can send it back if you want. No response, no nothing.
And that's usually the way to weed out scammers. Ask for a return.
That's 100%. Ask for a return. Ask them to send it back. But for the most part, I'm not going to treat every customer that way. Do yourself a favor. Do a little bit of legwork. It took 4 or 5 clicks to figure out that this lady still wants it in a town that she still lives in, and even though she's only got 2 feedback, I haven't looked at the address in a while. Well, she's been on eBay for 5 years. That could be a legitimate concern. I mean, so chances are more than not, this is legit. People want to know, why are my sales down? How do you treat customers?
I would not send it.
What's your mindset in treating customers? How negative? Are you that person that puts that diatribe in there about returns and this and that in every description? I don't buy from you. I just don't.
How many times have you been scammed over the last year, Scott?
Probably 2 or 3, but I don't know. I can't tell you.
I was twice this year.
See, here's the problem. I think I'll just put it out there. I think that us YouTubers are also part of the problem, because collectively we make we get scammed once in a year and we put it out there, right? So you see all these videos about scammers and being scammed and fraud, and then new sellers are like, whoa, I don't want that to happen to me. So they start putting these things in their listings, and people contact me all the time. They're worried about being treated like a business and being more susceptible to being scammed, so they personalize their listings like that. And it's like, guys, you're not going to get scammed more than a couple times in a year, if that, depending on how much you sell.
I've been on eBay since 1999, but my first eBay account had 4 letters. My son still uses that account. 4 letters. I mean, that's how long the password was 4 letters too, by the way. But I've been scammed 3 times that I know of in that entire time. And one was way back in the day when PayPal and eBay didn't talk to each other really well and you couldn't get anything done. And that was really bad. I lost money. The other 2 were this year. And they were both switch scams. They sent me back the wrong thing or nothing at all.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I don't know.
3 times in that.
Maybe I've made a video of that, but I can't remember making a video because here's
I'll be honest,
here's
I
how
have.
much I care about refunds and returns. Amazon FBA, they go to a separate file automatically in a rule I made in my email box. I never look at them. You want to know how many are in there right now? If I didn't delete those out, let's check.
Probably quite a few with Amazon.
Also, it depends on what you consider a scam. There's a lot of people who buy something, don't want it, and send it back.
Hey, currently, right now,
consider it a
on the
scam.
refunds for Amazon FBA, there are 4,691 unread emails. You can't do anything about it, and this is since I don't know. I can't tell you when the last one. I don't want to filter all the way to the end. I haven't looked at them, and this is how much I care about them.
But you get those items back though, those returns, right? From Amazon.
Right. This is how much I care about them. I just deleted every one of them emails. The hell with it. I don't care because there's almost nothing you can do. Okay, so Brenda has a good point. She got 11 refunds from the same seller. The seller sent the stuff to a different customer. She was nice, refunded right away, sent a message that explained that she messed up. Brenda then in return repurchased the same numbers, and she's our items again. And I've already got a tracking number. That is you're dealing with an outstanding eBayer, somebody who cares about their customers. And
2 outstanding eBayers, Brenda repurchasing and the original.
That's what you want. You want to know how to protect yourself and how to, if Brenda needs any of these items again, Brenda's going to buy them from that person because she took care of her and was honest and straight up.
I sold a Bible last week, James Robinson Open Bible, real, one of the real leather, all that, real nice Bible, $30. I missed the fact that there was note pages in the back that had writing on them, because when I flipped through it, I didn't see it, and I pretty thoroughly flipped through these things. And the guy messaged me back, and he's like, I hate to do this, but I have to send this back. This was supposed to be a gift for somebody. He sends it back. I give him his refund. Guess what? He left me good, positive feedback about a nice experience on eBay. That's why you do it. That's why you do it.
Yeah, you can't have monsters under the bed syndrome and worry about what could happen, or if I do this or do that. I mean, and even a loss due to being scammed is something at the end of the year you're able to write it off.
It hurts. Anyway. It hurts.
Yeah,
I mean, mentally,
right.
Especially.
Right.
But
okay, so I've got a friend who had an item that he sold. It was expensive, and they sent their broken one back to him. I can't tell you the time, energy, and effort and distraction that he has wasted trying to get his money back out of this. Remember, if you sell an item, even if you sell it for big dollars, you're only in it for your cost and the shipping. And on Amazon, you can get up to 50% back. I mean, you can deduct 50% for not being put plenty of pictures in there and take the 50% that Amazon allows you and move on. If I have a $30 item that I sold for $300 and the customer scams me and puts the broken one back in the box, am I going to chase them for the $300, or am I just going to put the pictures for proof and keep 50%? I'm going to keep 50% and move on. I've still made money.
eBay allows you to do that too if you offer free.
Correct.
Right.
And I've used it a couple times. One time somebody didn't send the cord back, so I deducted the cost of the cord. This last one I did, they didn't send the box back. The original box they sent the product back, but the original box they didn't. I deducted $5 for the box, because it's not the same without the box, when you're going to try to resell.
Well, you know why they do that, right? They get away with that on Amazon all the time, but then they do it on eBay, and then they realize you're
neither. The one fought me on it. eBay still let me do it. The other one didn't even fight me on it. So, and that happens. And you can deduct shipping. You can do all sorts of things when you have free returns.
So it's understand. So a lot of this is if you understand the platform that you're selling on and take advantage of what's offered to you. It's understand it. If you have free returns, you have a lot more control over than no returns. People think I'm just not going to take any returns. I'm going to be that person. If they claim not as described, you're taking a return. I don't care what you check. eBay is going to shove it down your throat. So what are you protecting yourself from? It's studies have been shown. I can tell you over and over, I've had free returns forever, and my return rate is little to nothing. I can tell you the returns I get, I missed something, or part of it was my fault, or it was damage in shipping. There's something. It's not because someone has been out to get me. It's
Scott, I can answer your question though. What are you protecting yourself from? Sales? Because you're going to chase people away if you have a no return policy.
I do no returns on a few items.
If you don't have a return policy, I don't buy from you.
Yeah.
If I'm selling something for parts or repair, it's no returns. That's obvious.
Right.
Yesterday, I listed a piece of software, and the last listed operating system on it was Windows XP. I put no returns on that because if somebody buys that today thinking it's going to work on Windows 11, it's probably not going to work. It might, but in those cases, I'll put no returns. Everything else, free returns. And I've just went to 30 days. I was 60 days before, but now I'm down to 30. But so all my new listings will get 30 days. And why? Because nobody ever waits 60 days to return anything. Yeah, nobody ever waits 30 days to return anything.
Say, Hustle Man, it makes no sense. There's a reason why Amazon extends the return period to this part of the year. That's why Walmart and everybody else does the same thing. They extend the holiday returns. Is it because Amazon finally grew a heart and decided, we're going to be nice? Walmart the same way? Absolutely not. Psychologically, and the longer you have an item, the less chances it'll ever come back. Actually, extending the return policy lowers your returns and lowers, because people go, well, I've got 45 days. I can try it out. They get used to it being there. They don't send it back. There are some exceptions, but it's so freaking rare. And they don't do these things by accident, folks. They study everything. Go watch the Jeff Bezos video. When you're on an Amazon's website, they track your cursor movements as what you're looking at. They are a data company, and it's not an accident that what can we talk about today? Armor All Tire Shine. I got this nice disinfectant Armor All spray. Next week, tell me how many people have Armor All in their feeds for ads next week. Armor All.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
I'm with Brenda. I buy stuff listed with no returns too if the seller has good reviews and ratings. But
most of the stuff I buy, that I have choice. They're on eBay and especially on eBay, there's more than one listing on most things, and so I would generally, if the price is similar and everything else is similar, the person with returns gets the sale every time.
But even if it was wrong, you file a 9 ad or item not as described on eBay, and you'll get your money back.
Well, I do have to provide one correction. Someone stated that in eBay, all they have to do is put that something was swapped out, and they get 100%. They can deduct 100% on the refund, and that's not the refund tool. Only lets you refund up to 50% max. Now, if you can reach out to eBay. You go to ic3.gov, file a report, and take that information to eBay. And I've had that happen twice, and they made me whole. They gave me my money. They basically allowed me to keep my money, and of course, they're going to give the buyer their money back. But you can go to IC3.
When it happened to me, I didn't even do that step. I didn't go to IC3. I just went through Facebook for Business, and they refunded me both. They gave me the full amount on both. I did it before I gave a refund, though. I did not wait. I did not give the 50% refund. Don't do that.
Right. You don't give the refund, then go do that. You go do that process. But if we're talking a $20 item, it's not even worth your time to even mess with that.
Well, for me, it was, they were low-end items, but it pissed me off because the one guy sent back an envelope with an empty SD card package in it. And that wasn't even an SD card. I can't remember what it was I sold, but it was so blatant, It angered me.
Okay, so Fartsack wanted to do a comparison here. Viagra. Who needs some Viagra? All right, Viagra. Hot chicks. I need hot chicks Viagra. Okay, so I need to know next week.
You know what? Now you're going to get your sex spammers in the
Who gets Viagra and who gets Armor All. So next week, y'all need to let me know who sees Viagra and who sees Armor All.
What about this one? Hey, Alexa, turn on the country top 100 hits.
Mine won't because it's
How
in the
many
other
people
room.
are going to be all screwed up right now?
I've learned a long time ago when I'm on this show with Scott or anybody really to wear headphones so that they don't set my Alexa off.
See, the one thing about it, I guess you didn't see a couple shows ago, Amazon is discontinuing that. They have lost their rear end for Alexa.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you see that? It's actually amazing the amount how long they'll go before they'll finally give up on something. But yeah.
No, the last
what are they giving? What are they discontinuing exactly?
Alexa
altogether.
They've lost what they say $10 billion. It was some big number.
Oh, well, I'll have to tell my wife. She just bought one not that long ago at a yard sale for like $5.
I think with some country music playing on some of these viewers, they're not very happy.
I listen to country music. What's wrong with country music?
No. What I just told we have 100 plus people watching. About half of them probably are playing country music right now because of me. Sorry, everyone.
So the service.
Hey Alexa, play George Strait the Chair.
Oh, that's a great song. So Alexa's not going to work at all. When is this happening?
They're just not going to make any more. I don't think they're going to do much more development in it either.
But the service will still be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
The problem is you think about how much you use these automated. So I'll use Siri, if I need to ask it a question or whatever. And it's second rate. The one thing that
I don't like Siri at all.
An iPhone versus an Android, Google Assistant kicks Siri's ass. I mean, it's not even close. But still,
I'll ask Siri what's the weather, and it'll tell me it's 37 degrees. I'll ask Alexa, and she'll give me this whole weekly forecast thing. It's a whole different story.
But so the adoption of these voice commanded things has not been as what people thought they would be. And maybe you turn your lights on, maybe you do this or that. But they envisioned the world where everything was going to be going to voice.
You want to have some real fun? Hey Alexa, tip my driver.
What is that? Would you?
If you just had an Alexa or an Amazon delivery, and you say Alexa, tip my driver, it'll give you a driver $5. It comes out of Amazon's pocket, not yours.
Really?
Allegedly, I've seen news articles about it. I don't know how legit they are. See if it worked.
Oh yeah. So Harlan is Dusty always had Alexa, and he was a big Alexa fan. And every time he would leave the room, I would tell it to play something. And there was one we were in, and we had it playing Cardi B.
Somebody says it's because of a lawsuit, that $5 thing. I don't know. I didn't look into it. I just know I saw an article about it, so I thought I'd tip everybody's driver today.
And there was Harlan and I were in that chat, and Dusty was gone for a long time, and I'd change the song. It'd play for a minute. Harlan would tell it to play another crazy song, and I bet the last time we did that, Harlan, it was like 3 or 4 songs deep before he finally came back in the room. But it's so what's the overarching theme of the day? You got to learn your platforms. Understand there's so many nuances. My shipping video coming out. I've talked about shipping. Shipping's the same way. Shipping is so difficult, and it's easy to throw it in a box and do whatever. That's the easy part. It's the key to shipping is you're protecting your profits now. Because anything you spend extra in shipping is automatic deduction from your net income. And so, whether it's the wrong size box, which weighs a few ounces more, that ends up costing you 50 cents to $1 more, a lot of the times I buy my own boxes, and most of the time using that, a lot of times you'll come to using that box. It's the 24, not the 32 ECT, and so it means that instead of 9 ounces, it's now 8 ounces, and so that throws it down in the lower bracket. And so instead of it's 50-75% difference. I paid 30 cents for the box. Paying for a box saved me 50 cents. That's hard to explain to some people. That shipping correctly, there are things it'll be like close to eBay in priority, but if I can use the priority box, it means I've saved a little bit more money because I haven't used one of my boxes.
Well, what about this? What about not using a box?
Hey, Nick says I tipped his driver. Now, Nick, Nick, if it actually comes out of your pocket, let me know. And I'll
I'd say about 70% of the items that I ship, believe it or not, I do not use a box with. I use
poly mailers or
of bubble wrap, and then use a poly mailer. And I have not had any as long as they get the item and it's intact, box isn't all smashed up, banged up. You use enough bubble wrap and you do it right. You can, and that saves, the box is going to add about 4 ounces approximately, depending on the thickness of the box.
Well, bagging a box as well. You got to learn bagging a box too, because you can save quite a bit of money using bagging a box. Yeah. If you understand that a 9x6x3 box will fit in a padded bubble mailer, and that's the cheapest way to ship priority.
Figure out what size of box, the biggest size of box that fits in one of those cardboard mailers too, the priority mailers. And we do that all the time. You should see the stuff my wife forces into those things.
Yeah.
Without reinforcement on the package. And it's
okay. Good. So Amazon is a different beast though, John, and everything for Amazon goes in a box. I don't know if you saw my last shipping video, but there was a couple of people commented, man, that stuff looks so professional. That's what I'm going for with Amazon. And Amazon, I don't shove everything into I could put a pair of jeans into a flat rate mailer. I would never do that on Amazon. Right. Just because their customers are a little more picky.
Right.
Yeah, no, I know that. Amazon.
But thanks to you, now I have my eyeballs on a $1,200 paper tape machine. Those things are not cheap.
Buy it used. You can pick them up in the 500 range if you're patient. Set yourself do a search and then save the search so you get email notifications.
Yeah.
They come up from time to time. I waited about a month before I found mine.
I think you and I bought from the same guy on eBay. Now mine was 800, I think, but it was used and it works fine. You might have to make some tweaks to it. I had to make a few tweaks to mine to make it work correctly, but I don't think
you would be absolutely amazed, John, how much time that saves and how, just hitting the button, how much time do you struggle with getting tape around something and all that crazy.
Yeah.
You go paper tape, you will never go back.
Never.
Guarantee you.
Well,
you'll use.
I still use boxes. It would be worth the investment. But I'd say, if I ship out 10 items in a day, I'm only using 2 to 3 boxes.
I find myself boxing things more often now because I have the paper tape. It's just because it's quicker, faster, easier for me.
Okay, so
I still use a lot of envelopes too.
Hey, John, what the hell are you doing? Here's one for my machine, $449 plus $60 shipping.
Are you on eBay?
Yeah.
Okay. I was looking on Amazon.
Always go to eBay for that.
$550 plus 58 shipping and ends in 2 hours. It's got one bid on it. Here's the ES, which is the upgraded model of mine. No bids, 4 days left, $295 free shipping.
Just do your research on the person. Obviously that.
Here's one here, $550 best offer, 4-day free shipping, Midwest Technology.
If you choose not to, then go to 3-inch tape. Not you, but in the audience, Tactical Z says 3-inch tape rocks, and I agree with that.
Okay, so here's the one. That one that's $550 or best offer. It's actually an ESA, which means the biggest difference between the E and the ESA is there is a little device which will automatically a laser that'll measure the box and kick out the tape you need. I bought one thinking it would work on my machine. I've got to resell it. It's out there in the building, but you can also use automatic pedals with those. where you can have a pedal on the floor and you hit it and it kicks out the repeat of the last tape you had.
Well, that would be nice.
The
But the
Yeah.
E is there's nothing wrong with just
E is fine. I've got the E. I've used it for
Yeah,
years.
that's what I use.
So yeah, don't spend $1,200, man.
What's the brand on that one?
It's a
Better
Better Pack ES, a Better Pack 555.
Okay. Okay.
The more letters behind the E,
Yeah, the more letters
better,
behind E,
the more
just means you
features
get
it
more
has.
function.
but I don't think us as resellers really need anything more than the E. I've never needed anything more than the E, that's for sure.
As your Christmas present, I've given you another Christmas present, John. You just don't know it. Remind me after the show to tell you what it is.
Jeez.
Okay.
First time on the show and he's getting gifts already, and I don't get shit.
Right.
In the private chat, there's a link to the one I would buy. It's the 550 one.
Okay. Thank you.
Patco is very reliable. That's who I buy my tape from. But the machines tend to be more expensive. But this one here,
It's pretty. It's in decent.
yeah, it's in
condition.
beautiful condition.
Got some sticker residue on it, but
Yeah,
Are
I can get that sticker residue off in about
yeah.
a minute.
So mine,
Yeah.
really the only maintenance I do on it is every once in a while I'll take the brushes out and scrub them in the sink, and the other thing is fill water. That's about it. There's not a whole lot of maintenance to them. If you ever have to do maintenance, there's some YouTube videos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Like
but
mine would like the tape would catch in it, and it just one of the plates in there was a little.
So as you're ending your fourth quarter, if you've been fortunate enough to have a very good fourth quarter, I suggest you take some of your windfall, plan what you're going to do inventory, plan some upgrades, make life easier for yourself. I can't tell you if you're not going to have a paper tape machine, Steve's 100% right. 3-inch tape, you'll thank me for it. You'll wonder how in the hell you ever use that little bitty 2-inch tape. I've got some out there, and the roll has been on the dispenser forever. I've got a 3 and a 2-inch dispenser. I never grabbed a 2. Never.
I use 2-inch tape now, but only thing I ever use it for is when I bubble wrap something, I'll tape it. But because I don't need 3-inch tape for that. But I don't tape anything. I don't tape any boxes with plastic tape anymore. I use paper tape for everything.
BB, I actually have the aerial adapter and I don't use it. It's just sitting in the cabinet. I should probably sell it.
So I've come to the realization is there's a lot of things around here that I don't use anymore, and that needs to get sold.
So if you want to visit Harlan today, he'll be looking for new applicants. But
BB wants it. Make a deal with BB there.
I don't know what I pay for it, BB. Make me an offer on it. Send me an email. My email is down scott.zilke@gmail.com. Make me an offer. I'll send it to you. So do you know what the aerial adapter is, Steve?
No.
So you put it on the front where the paper comes out, and it.
Oh yeah, I remember when you got that.
And it kind of shapes like a V and kind of points the paper up.
Yeah.
Whereas if you hit it now, the paper is just going to roll out the front and go straight down.
Well, see, mine sits up here on this shelf, on the top shelf, so it wouldn't work for me. If it was on a regular table, it would. Or if I
So
put
does
it
that
on a lower shelf.
just prevents the tape from sticking to your table or something?
Or my tape never sticks. I've got it on the edge of the table, so I just pick it up. But it keeps it like up where you can just grab it easier, I guess.
It makes it into that. Does it make it into that V shape?
Yeah, it kind of the way it pushes it out. The V is kind of what makes it stand up. Yeah, BB, just send me an offer. I'm reasonable. I've only used it like 10 times. So Harlan. So somebody said did Harlan fire Bonnie? Man, we went to an estate sale Saturday. That's the company that Bonnie was at. And I had the camera. I had my phone. I didn't have a camera, but I had my phone ready. This video was going to break the internet, and Bonnie wasn't there. I was so ready to meet Bonnie and interview Bonnie on camera, and she was not there. It is just the disappointment when I left that estate sale was it was awful.
Well, maybe Harlan, kept her up too late the night before. Past 8 o'clock.
Carol, did you turn 60 today? Happy birthday, Carol.
I'm not touching a woman's age, so I don't know if you're making a joke or if she's really 60, or I don't want to know. It's none of my business how old she is.
She's not. But it's
brave. You're brave.
But it's really the time of the year where a lot of people are, I would suggest, consult your tax and professional, but buying equipment is a deduction for this year. And so that's another thing. So understand it's not dollar for dollar. So understand what you're doing and how that, but it's just another savings. Damn. Dave finally woke up.
And then he left.
See you. And Brenda, congratulations, you two getting married. So Brenda says that she said yes. I wish you a long, happy life. Nana Tink, I'm just playing with Carol. She's not 60. And no, that is not old. The closer I get to all these numbers, it is not really that old.
This thing on?
No.
Good morning.
Shit, it's almost afternoon.
Yeah.
For you
morning
guys.
Time here.
Dave just come stop to say, what? Hello and good night.
Yeah. Popping in for hello and good night.
Todd, I put the machine in you can't imagine the upgrade that it is. And it really, if you sell a lot of Amazon FBM where you have a lot of things that are the same. So I've been selling a bunch of the different variations of the same items and they all fit in the same box, 864, and I can look at the thing and I've got like 6 of them to ship. You can make 6 boxes pretty damn quick. And it is the only negative I can tell you is if you make a mistake, you're not pulling the tape off. You're cutting your way into this box.
If you get it quick, you can pull it off. But
very quick. But even after about 30 seconds, you're tearing box.
See, I noticed you did a shipping video, a week ago or so.
There's another one coming tomorrow.
And I noticed your tape gets way wetter than my tape gets. So I'm wondering if my brushes are.
I treat my machine better. It's exciting.
Yeah, you got to take care of it.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Hey, question.
I have the heat turned all the way up too. I don't know if that matters.
Maybe
I
should
should
turn
good
it
place to get a deal on boxes for those shoes, like 15 by 8 by 6 or 15 by 8 by 8. Something that's similar to the USPS shoe box that I can use for UPS.
Like Supply Hut.
I looked at Supply Hut. You had mentioned that on your video, but they have like a 14 by something. They don't have a 15 by 8 by 8.
Go to their website and contact them. I bet they've got other stuff that they just don't have on eBay.
Okay.
They've got a huge selection on their website.
Yeah.
So I was looking for a specific size box, and I had to go an inch in one direction or the other.
I was just going to say
because it's not a common size, so it costs you way more money. So
you think it would be
since
it's considered a shoe box, so you can fit a lot of different shoes in that.
It's like the difference between trying to get an 8x4x4 or 10x4x4. Those are pretty common, but a 9x4x4 that might be a little more expensive.
That was about the size of box I was looking at, and it was more expensive because the 10x4x4 was cheaper, the 8x4x4 was cheaper, but the 9x4x4 I would have had to pay at the tiny for it. But I can't remember what I was buying a box for, but it was about that size.
That's what air pillows are for.
Yep, that's what I ended up doing. Buying a more common size box and filling it with padding.
I mean, Uline seems to have them, but
I'm trying to see if they've actually.
I see Uline has pretty much every size. But
Yeah, but you're gonna pay for it.
oh yeah, $1 a box.
And what size did you need?
Well, something equivalent. The one that USPS puts out is 15 by 8 by 6, so something in that range.
Try Staples.
Because see, what I find happening is, if I get a heavier shoe and it's over 2 pounds, or I'm on the West Coast, it's going to the East Coast, I find that I'm saving a couple bucks if I can ship it by UPS, and I have to pony up and pay an extra couple bucks to use those boxes.
I ship a lot of things UPS. I find it's way cheaper sometimes.
Yeah, it's starting to get over a pound nowadays. Is finding a lot of things that are UPS.
I was shipping. I gotta grab one. I was shipping these things out, and they're just over a pound. And it was always cheaper shipping UPS because they all went to California, of course, from here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they were still like $10 to ship, but for USPS, it was like 15 or more.
Right.
But so I had a chance to buy 40 of these things. This is ranked 200 in toys right now.
Yeah.
When I was selling them, when I had the chance to buy 40, they were selling for $26 a piece on Amazon. I bought 3 of them at $3 a piece is what I paid. The problem with that, it sounds like a great buy at $3 a piece or $2 a piece is what he offered me. But it was Cyber Monday. And on Cyber Monday, these things were way elevated. Today, they're selling for $10 on Amazon. They're selling for more on eBay. So you got to be careful when you're doing your research. Just because at that moment in time it's $26 doesn't mean it's going to be. I bought these yesterday for $1 a piece. $1 a piece, I'll buy them. I'll still make a couple bucks on Amazon if I send them in. But I guess this is a really popular show on Netflix or something. Gabby's Dollhouse or something. I have no idea. I just happened to come across them. But just because one day of the year it's selling for $26, normally that sells for $15.99. And Amazon's on it too. So Amazon's got the price down at 10 right now.
So I think $1 a box. So even Staples, their cheapest boxes, they have a 15.88, and it's $1.30 a box. They have a 14.5 by 8.7 by 6, and it's 31, so it's $1.26. So,
one of the things I'm going to work on this year is trying to find a local box company.
That's the thing. If being in Vegas, John, I would think there are box manufacturers there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And
the thing about local box companies is if it's a box that they have to design and make, it's not worth you doing.
Right.
If it's a box that they carry in stock,
I can make it fit it. I mean, I don't have to have 15 by 8 by 6, but just something in that vicinity.
I had to change my thinking too. I started thinking a lot of custom size boxes that I liked, not realizing that those are more expensive or complicated to make.
But if you find a box factory, ask them about what their common stock sizes are, or give them measurements and see what the closest box that local
it's something I'm working
carries.
on too.
Or they already have a die to make, or it's something they set up normally for another customer.
Right.
You can get them printed or unprinted. I mean, there's a lot of differences. But I had, even the company that I work for, I wanted them to make a special box because I had a private label thing I was doing on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And just to make the die was $2,500. So it's not, you got to be careful. That's why you buy stock sizes.
But Staples.com, if you look at their boxes, they have damn early size known to man because Coastwide makes their boxes, and they have free 2-day shipping on boxes. So,
and if you do
find they're 32, so they're the heaviers.
If you do find a local box company, ask them about if you're mainly an eBay seller and you don't care as much. They're brand new boxes. They might be a misprint. They're misprint boxes. You know what happens to those? They go in the baler. So they'd be willing to sell you those cheap or even give them to you free a lot of the times.
And so the one thing I like about Staples is they do discount and clearance out boxes. So right now they've got not a big selection. They've only got 12 items right now, but you can catch a lot of good deals on their boxes. I mean,
The other ideal thing about having a paper tape machine, John, is that if you get a misprint box or a box with printing on it at all,
Yeah.
paper tape covers that up pretty well.
That's right. That's right.
You can't tell. On occasion, I've done it almost every day.
For me, having all those shoes, 700 pairs or something like that. And after a while, I think I've only got about 120 listed. But I'm thinking that it would be easier just to, once you list it, get it boxed up,
right.
and
Write the
store
number
away.
on it and put it on the shelf.
Yeah, and store it away.
On shoes, that's how I would do it. If I was mainly a shoe seller, I'd have them all boxed.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put the final tape on them. I'd keep one end open.
Right.
Just in case
Right.
somebody
So
has a question.
You can verify it, right. But just putting it on the shelves to store it, I think would be a lot more efficient.
Mm. All right. So anybody else got any more comments? It's 10 o'clock and I'm got to go ship a few items. I got to edit video too.
Well, I just got to say thanks, Scott.
Man, John, you're welcome anytime. Just let me know.
Yeah.
Are you on Facebook?
I am on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram.
Yeah, send me a Facebook request. I'll just put you on the list. I'll just send you the link and you can come whenever you want.
Okay.
Yeah, you're at
And
Bob,
anyone
right?
out there hasn't checked out my channel, Flipping Ain't Easy. We make a lot of videos about policy and some of the crap that I deal with as a seller. So come check it out.
Definitely check him out. Good information.
Huh?
I said definitely check you out. Good information. Letting everybody know. Your last video, passing on the information. I didn't catch that there was a reduction in 1 through 4 zones in priority right now.
Yeah, that comes up. That message came up in the Seller Hub on Friday afternoon, and for the live, I pretty much just try to find a topic. Like you found one with the what was this? The Packer, bearded Packer.
Yeah,
and,
so I'm gonna call about him today and see what happens.
Yeah.
So if he would have just done bearded Packer, he would have probably been all right.
Yeah,
Bearded Packer and using your logo. It is a publicly available logo. I mean, technically,
yeah, but it's not in good taste.
I found a couple of them doing it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Another
There's
right,
another one I think he
more.
goes by. When you do a search on Google, it's the redneck bearded picker is what it goes by.
but is he using the same logo and everything?
He's not using a logo at all.
Yeah, so that's
But
different.
but when you pull up bearded picker eBay, that's the second one that comes up.
Yeah, I'm third on the list, by the way.
What?
And
It
it doesn't
depends where
even
you're
come up as
searching
bearded
from.
picker for you.
Uh-oh.
Mm.
You need to do some SEO.
I guess since I'm third on the list and nobody cares, I guess this will be the last day that I'm out. I just quit making videos and stop wasting my time. I'm out. All right, roll tide. See you next week.
Hi.
Take it easy.
See ya.